Blessings, a community of spouses. Listen, Coach T here with you today on this restful Saturday. And I want to come in today and share a brief word with you. I am laying down in my resting place today because I've been up all morning. I started around midnight and I did not get into bed to sleep actually until close to 4 o'clock. Then I had a Zoom call and then I had a mini session. And so I am now at a place of rest. But sometimes I like to come on here and reflect and share with you what I feel like the Lord is speaking to spouses in this season and during this time. I know a lot of us are getting back to work and getting back to our normal way of life and living, and I think that is awesome. That's great. We've been in the house, we've been tied down. I still would say for us to be safe. But I think the last time I was really speaking with you and engaging with you, I was, telling spouses to prepare and get ready for, your spouse to come home, to prepare and get ready for the manifestations of, God to, come forward, for the promises that he has made to you to come forward. A lot of us have run into a place of standstill, of delay, of I thought that, God was getting ready to do this spectacular thing in my life, and it seems like nothing has happened yet, or God is getting ready to do, this amazing miracle in my life, and nothing has taken place yet. I am still in the same place I was, a few months ago. I'm still in the same place I was, last year. I'm still in the same place. Nothing has happened. I want to be an encouragement to you on today and share a few things with you. First, I want to say this. If nothing has happened in your marital covenant, or nothing has changed or happened in your life, this is a brilliant time for you to reflect. Go to God in prayer. Lord, am I missing something? Did you speak something to me and I overlooked it? Were you trying to get a message to me and I didn't hear it? Have I sinned somewhere and missed the mark and I don't recognize it, or I haven't realized, my place where I have missed you? Have you been speaking to me and I have not been in the right position to hear from you? Go to God, reflect, look over your life, see where you are, see where you guys stand, see what does your relationship looks like. A lot of times we are not in position, and so we miss the mark. We miss what it is that God is trying to share with us, what God is trying to tell us. And so sometimes we have to go back to the last place we were. We have to go back to the last thing that God has told us to do and start there. And you know how they tell you, a person say, I lost my keys. It's like, well, what was the last place you remember seeing your keys at? And sometimes in our relationship and on our walk and with our journey with God, we have to do those things. We have to go back to the place where he last spoke to us. And what was the last thing that he has told us? The other thing I want to share is one of the things I've been hearing so heavy from God is just because you don't see anything actively happening right now, just because you don't see anything actively happen, it does not mean that I am not working on your behalf. Just because you don't see anything moving right now, it does not mean I am not working on your behalf. One of the things, I am just a true believer, and I believe wholeheartedly, and actually one of the pastors that I listened to shared this on his prayer page recently. And what he said is, if you are a true child of God, if you are a true child of God, and God and you have your relationship, and God speaks to you, and God gives you warnings and heads ups, and God lets you know things, anything that's going on in your life, whether it's coming, whether it's not here yet, or whatever it is, God will share it with you. God will give you a warning. He will give you a heads up. He will realign you. He will tell you, okay, you need to do this or you need to do that. Sometimes it takes messages like this for you to get back in position or get back in place so you can hear from him clearer. God is always doing something. And sometimes we may not be in the right place for us to hear him, or sometimes we need to hear someone else tell us, or sometimes we need, some kind of reminder. But God is always doing something on our behalf. Don't think for a moment that God is not for your marital covenant. I know this listen, I am a Christian and I speak more than to just husbands and wives, but my mission, people, is to speak to the marital covenant. My mission is to speak to the spouses, because I know the feeling of defeat. And I know the feeling of feeling like, oh my God, this is not going to change. And I know that feeling of feeling like I'm in this stuck place and it seems like nothing is happening. But I want to encourage you today to speak back to your situation and let the enemy know, no, it may look a certain way today, but God is faithful. It may look a certain way and like a certain things are happening right now, but God is faithful. I also want to share this with you. Don't move from your stance. Like, don't try to go all of a sudden and say, nothing has happened, so I'm going to go and do it myself. Nothing is changing, so I'm going to go and try to fix it myself. Don't do that. Don't do that. One of the worst things you can do is try to go on your own and try to figure out what's going on. Man, God moving too slow. He ain't, moving fast enough for me. I need to go and take care of this myself. Do not do that, spouses. Do not do that. One of the quickest ways that you can hear from God and get into alignment with him, go on a fast. Shut it down. Shut it down. Shut down the outside world. Go on a fast. Open up his word. Get into his presence. Turn on your praise and worship. Listen to his word. Let it meditate and feed your spirit, man, so you can hear exactly what it is. When you feel like you are off track and something ain't right, you need to go to God diligently and don't stop until you get a response. And so I say that because, I feel like some of us are in a place, in a position where it's like, man, when is this going to end? It's like we've been doing this forever. When is this going to end? And God is saying, even when you don't see that things are working, even when it seems like you are in a standstill, truly, truly believe that I am working on your behalf. I am for your marital covenant, and I am doing things on the backside. And sometimes it takes time. I know that's a word that I've been running from. Patience. I've been running from that word. Patience and long suffering. It's almost like God is bringing that back to me. Like, you got to know that I'm doing something even when it doesn't look like I'm doing nothing. You got to be patient. This is a long suffering process. And you have to ask God to give you that supernatural strength that you need during that long suffering. Once again, I like to go back to the his wife handbooks. This is why I emphasize to wives, don't just focus on your marital covenant things. This is why it's important for you to get in alignment with your marital covenant so you can be working and focusing on other assignments. So you won't be wearing down with just focusing on your marriage stuff. And you won't just be focusing on all the things that's not happening or that's not going right or that's not, working out. Get in alignment with God so he can give you other assignments. You have other things to do besides your marital covenant. You have other things to work besides your marital covenant. And so don't allow the enemy to overwhelm you with just feeling defeated and just feeling like nothing is going on and nothing is happening, nothing is changing. Listen, if you guys have not recognized anything, this pandemic and all the different things that has taken place over these last few months, it's been a total of 5 months now. If you haven't noticed anything that's happened, pay attention. Look at that. That enough is an example. It shows proof that God is doing something. And I know we all started 2020 with these high expectations of, what life was going to look like and what we was striving for, what we was going to, what we was trying to do and what we was working to, what we was trying to get at. And God is still saying, and we still going to get to that place. We still going to get there. We still going to do those things, but it's a process. This is a process. This stuff does not happen overnight. Greatness does not take place overnight. This is a process. You have to be patient. You have to know that God has not forgotten you, that if God said it, his word is final. It will come to pass. He will do what he said he would do. He does not change. His tactics may change. The way he orchestrates things may be different, but he does not change. God is faithful. And so I would just encourage you today to just ask God, Lord, help me to feel your presence a little bit more. My auntie taught me that prayer. She said sometimes, we can get caught up in life and get caught up in things, and we need to just feel God's presence a little bit more. And so she would tell me, Lord, help me to just feel your presence a little bit more. So that's my prayer for spouses today. Lord, help us spouses to feel your presence a little bit more. Lord, touch us today so we know that you're still there. Lord, show us something on today that we know that you're still here with us. We know that you are here with us because your word tells us that you would never leave us or forsake us. But make your presence known to us a little bit more. Speak to us in a different way today. Help us to hear something. Give us a reminder. Show us, God, that you are still working on our behalf. Spouses need that on today. And so that is my prayer for you. Listen, spouses, you can do what I'm doing. Relax, take a nap, get you some rest. Ultimately, get you some time in with God so that you can hear from him and so that you can know that he has not forgotten you. God is for your marital covenant. Matthew 19:6. Blessings.